The narc will often do anything that they can possibly do to be able to get you to leave. Hey, I'm Ben Taylor. I'm a narc in recovery, and I'm on this platform trying to bring awareness and promote growth and healing and change for people out there, for people that are struggling with narcissism and for people that have been victims of narcissistic abuse. You see, when you're in a narcissistic relationship, there's a lot of times where the narcissist is seeing that the relationship is starting to lose the mask and they're starting to be uncovered for who they actually are, and they want to get out. The problem is they don't have typically the balls to get out. They don't have the guts to actually call it off and say what's actually going on. So they will stay in the relationship and purposely make it hell for you to try to get you to leave. This is where you might think you're going crazy because they're gaslighting, they're manipulating, they're lying, all these types of things. And then they start bringing out the abuse, and they start bringing out the mental, the emotional, and even physical abuse a lot of times that hurts and harms you incredibly. You see, the narc, even though they want to get out of a relationship, they enjoy the chaos. Like, they want to keep the chaos going because in the moment, that chaos seems normal. That chaos seems to be what they're used to. So they'd rather have the chaos than they would deal with whatever would ensue besides that. So they'd rather have the chaos than actually face a divorce and have to pay attorneys and have to work through divorce and everything like that. They also would want to do that to be able to avoid divorce so that they didn't have their image hurt. You know, people to see them and look at them and be like, they messed up their marriage or they failed at their marriage, stuff like that. A narc oftentimes is looking to be able to do whatever they can to be able to keep their image and their ego secure. So a lot of times you'll have a narc who'll stay in a relationship because on the outside of the relationship, it looks good. On the outside, people think that it's a good relationship, that they're loving to one another, that they're making ends meet, whatever it might be. But inside, you've got the narcissist that's giving that abuse and hurting that other person. Oftentimes, a narcissist doesn't want to go through the process of like getting divorced and actually saying that for the sure instance that they'll have to pay child support or they'll have to pay some type of alimony. And oftentimes that'll keep them from even doing that because they don't want to do that. They don't want to lose that. They don't want to have that image on them of they might have a good image at work and then all of a sudden they have to start paying child support and it comes to their check. People are going to start noticing and people are going to start talking. So a narcissist is normally looking of how can I work to be able to save the image. One way to be able to save the image is to force you to leave. So with this, the narcissist starts making life a living hell for you. They start doing things that just piss you off. They start doing things that is degrading, that is hurtful, that is often where we get the reactive abuse that comes from because they have pushed and pushed and pushed so many times that they're hurting the other person to the point where they just lash out. The narcissist wants that other person to leave for a couple different reasons. One, because the narc isn't strong enough to be able to leave on his own. Whether that's mentally or emotionally just not secure enough to be able to say, hey, this isn't working and we need to leave. They're not going to do that. They want to have the other person leave so that they can maintain control of the situation so that it looks like that they're the one that's actually in control in their minds of what's going on because they're forcing the other person out. And the other reason they want to force you out and they want you to make that decision is so they can look like the victim. That's probably one of the biggest reasons why they want this is because if you can leave and they can twist the story, they will twist the story so that they can be the victim. They can be the person that was hurt. They can be the person that was abused, whatever it might be. And so you'll have at the very last second, you'll have the narcissist trying. You'll have the narcissist, oh, I'll go to counseling. Oh, I'll go to therapy. Like, oh, let's read a marriage book together. Let's work on this together. And they're trying like all these little things because in their mind, as soon as you walk out that door, they can flip the story. They can turn around, they can say, I tried. Like, I did this. I suggested we read a marriage book. I suggested we go to counseling. And, you know, it just caught me off guard and this person just walked out. They want to force you to leave at times so that they can make themselves the victim. Now, am I suggesting you do the opposite and stay with them just to piss them off? No, because you need to leave. You need to go no contact. You need to block them and not have anything to do with them and not let them in your life because they will try to control you and manipulate you. So, with all this, what I would definitely say is be really careful. Be careful of dealing with a narcissist, because you never know what's actually going on underneath the surface. So many times they're there and they're trying to get you to leave. They're trying to force you out, and they're trying to piss you off to the place where you leave so that they can change the story, so that they can become the victim. So in my own life, and working through narcissism, there was a time in my life when my wife separated from me for a period of time. And during that time, I became callous and I became really hard. And there was a lot of it that I was like, I hope she leaves. I hope she walks out. That way I can tell the next person that I tried, that I put in the effort and she didn't want to put the effort in anymore. And that's something that would go through my mind often, sometimes when she was here, sometimes when we were separated. But that was something that would go through my mind a lot of times, because I wanted to figure out a way out of the situation where I could get what I wanted, to go out and cheat, do whatever, where I could get what I wanted and not lose face. And the only way I could do that is if I could manipulate the story. And that's what a narcissist is looking at doing. They're looking to try to manipulate the story so that they can be the victim, so they can force you to leave, and so they can move on with their life. Typically, if they're trying to do this, they already have a plan. They already have something in the back of their mind. It might be a destination they want to go to. It might be another job they want to visit. It might be another area they want to live. But more often than not, it's another person that they're already talking to. You see, a narc normally has someone already on the side, already has a plan, already has a new supply when they're getting tired or getting done with the old supply, and they're going to focus on moving on to the next one. So what they'll do is they'll lie, manipulate, gaslight, so that they can force you to be able to discard them, so they can force you to be able to move out or to leave them or whatever it might be. That way they can change the narrative. That way they can change the story around them, so they can try to save their ego, save their face, and be able to move on, saying that they tried everything that they could do, it just wasn't enough. Unfortunately, the narc is going to lie and change the story on regardless of what you do, no matter what happens. And so the biggest thing is to focus on you, focus on your growth, focus on your healing, because that's ultimately what's going to help you be the best person you can possibly be when you focus and concentrate on you. Don't worry about them. Don't worry about where they're going in life, who they're going in life with, whatever it might be. That doesn't matter. What matters is you. And if you have kids, if you have children, focus on you and their development, because that's ultimately the biggest blessing and the biggest thing that you can work on to be the best person you can be, to help them be the best kids and they can be.